Let me go change this on here. Okay, looks like we are live. So let me just change my status on my Discord so that way no one bugs me. So I gotta change that to do not disturb. And we are good to go. So let me actually go share my screen now to, oh yes, let me actually go to on here. Oh, I just need to go to on this other one. Let me go on here. Let me go to live. Then okay. Okay. Perfect. And then now I can share my screen. Okay. Maybe we'll put the yeah, we'll probably do content only. And why is it not show? Okay. It's not showing me it. Let me go do this again because it decides to be weird. The worst. Okay. Now I can go share it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Hopefully it shows up on the, there you go. Perfect. All right, looks like we are live. Welcome everyone to the 17th episode of the Lucky Charm podcast. And of course, I am joined here by my very good buddy G, aka the Cartoon Hotspot.
Hi everyone.
And of course, this episode, because of Miraculous, they introduced us to these very interesting Akumatized villains ever since season one, and I'm kind of like, why not? Let's actually rank them, right? Let's actually rank them. So, how we are going to rank them in a tier list, as shown here. We're going to rank them on design, how their power, basically the powers they were given, how they got akumatized. But what was the other thing, G, that we were gonna take into equation?
So how they got akumatized, their motives, how powerful they were as akumatized villains slash how dumb they were, their design, and just how memorable they were as an Akuma villain. Yeah.
Yeah, so that's how we are going to rank them because if it was just based off design, probably a lot of them would be below, like in the C and lower, So we're good. We want to be fair and impartial on this. So all right, so we are going to be going in this order of how this tier list is, and luckily they have the names because yeah, there's no way I'll be able to remember all the names. But all right, so let's get started. So, gee, I'm very, very, very curious. Like, what are your thoughts on stormy weather?
Ooh, okay. So I'll start off with design first. So I think Stormy Weather design is actually really, really strong for a pilot episode.
Hmm.
I know for some people the pilot episode was the bubbler, but
Hmm.
for a lot of people, Stormy Weather was the pilot. So I'm just gonna go of that, and that is the official pilot of Miraculous. I think her design was really, really cool and really, really unique. Like it started off really strong. So I quite like her design. In terms of the reason she got akumatized, I think it was slightly pathetic but not like
Mm.
okay, I understand that she wanted to win the weather girl contest thingy or whatever, but I really at the end of the day don't think it was that deep. Like you entered the competition, you knew there was a 50-50 chance of you losing. Um so yeah, in terms of her powers are actually pretty cool. Like I do remember
Hmm.
her giving Ladybug and Cat Noir kind of a tough time because like imagine
Yeah.
being able to change the weather, like summon lightning, storms, rain, thunder,
Hmm.
whatever. Like she really did test them. And it was
Hmm.
the first episode, so granted she had the best animation. So lucky her. Um,
Hmm.
And in terms of how memorable she is, I mean, I think she's pretty memorable, but maybe memorable in the sense that because the episode was good, not necessarily because she was like memorable.
Hmm.
And the fact they do have a Stormy Weather 2.0, and we did get Clemata Queen in season 6, so we've had her like 3 times plus during like Heroes Day when she temporarily got reacclimatized for Hawkmoth's big plan. So I'd say she's pretty memorable. So I would give Stormy Weather like a solid a B. Yeah, a solid
Yeah. Yeah, for sure. Like, I definitely agree with everything you said. Yeah. I remember when I watched this episode, yeah, she was giving them a run for their money. Like dealing with like weather, like lightning and rain, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, it's like it's you're basically facing the elements, of the weather." And it's like that's very tough, Like when you're dealing with really rough weather, it's like usually people just say just stay inside, right?
B.
Um, but yeah, like I definitely agree. Like I understand why you put her in B because yeah, like the aspect of how she got akumatized was just like it was pretty weak in that regard. It's like I get it, you really want to win, you know, being the weather girl, which is understandable. Um, but yeah, but overall, she did give Ladybug and Cat Noir a run for their money. So definitely a B. Um, oh my gosh, Mr. Pigeon.
Oh my gosh. Okay. So Mr. Pigeon, I feel like in terms of iconic, he's iconic, but not for this, not because he's like was a great villain, but because he's just so goofy and like Gabriel has some weird obsession with
Mm.
him. Iconic in that,
Yeah.
and very memorable considering the fact that Gabriel Kubrick him like 72 times.
Yeah.
Um, I do feel like in terms of design, well, his design looks like he resembles a pigeon, so uh, good on that for sticking to that sort of theme. But reason why he got akumatized, at least in the first episode, from what I remember, first time ever he got akumatized, it was because like the cop, what's his name, Roger, was like, you can't be around, you can't be feeding the pigeons or whatever.
Yeah.
Which is understandable because Paris itself is not a clean city. So I completely understand
Hmm.
why the cops
Hmm.
did that. But I honestly just don't think it was a strong enough reason to get akumatized. Like, and the fact that
Yeah.
he keeps getting akumatized for the same reason every single time is
Hmm.
kind of like what? So I'm unfortunately gonna have to put him in either E or F.
Yeah, yeah, I probably put it in F because, it's kind of like I would put him in F for the same reasons because it's uh, because the other people on this list have a lot more legitimate reasons to be akumatized,
Yeah.
at least. And like I said, they literally had a dedicated episode. Was it in season 4, like Mr. Pigeon 72? And
Yeah.
Alia is even like the audience, like, he's been akumatized 72 times. And it's just like, yeah, I guess Hawkmoth couldn't find any other victims to akumatize. Yeah, so yeah, d definitely one of the weaker akumatized villains. Okay, the bubbler.
Okay, the bubbler. Um, so hold on. Are you still there, Leah? Okay.
Oh, I apologize. I
Oh,
don't
that's
know
okay.
what it did that. I was like, okay, let me let me go back to sharing my screen again. Sorry about that. I don't know what happened there. Zoom decided to be weird in the worst possible way. So I apologize.
All good.
There you go.
Okay, so
the bubbler. Um, I'm just gonna straight up say I do not like his design at all.
Mm,
It's really weird and like creepy, and I don't know if that was the intention, but I don't like his design at all. Um, I like, and I don't understand the motive or at least the reasoning behind Bubbles specifically. I think that's
mm,
because I understood that he got akumatized because he wanted to defend Adrian and Gabriel was being, like a terrible person, both to Adrian and to him as a friend. So I completely
mm-hmm,
understood that. I just didn't understand why Nino. I mean, now with the added context of the recent season 6 episode, which I haven't watched, but I've scrolled through Twitter here and there, so I kind of know what it's about. And I guess now with the added context that Nino's parents are like going through a divorce or whatever, I
mm-hmm,
could understand why he would take out his frustrations, um, concerning Gabriel on other parents
mm-hmm,
as well. Um,
mm-hmm.
but I don't know, like I understood he wanted to
Yeah,
trap all parents and like give kids freedom, but I feel
yeah,
like that was a little bit too unreasonable for Nino. Like Nino isn't like a
mm,
not unless like apart from that one episode in season 4 where he jumped to conclusions, I don't really think Nino's a reasonable person. I think he would only just want to take out his anger on Gabriel rather than every single parent in
mm-hmm,
Paris. But
mm-hmm.
it was also a great contender for a pilot episode. Like I said, for some people, The Bubbler was the pilot episode.
Yeah,
I do know, like, if you watch Nickelodeon, if you discovered Miraculous through Nickelodeon, then that would have been your pilot. But if you
yeah,
discovered it through other means, then Stormy Weather was your pilot. And I think it still holds up as a pilot episode. Sometimes I still watch The Bubbler, and I actually really enjoy it a lot more now than I did back then.
mm-hmm,
And I like the way they defeat him. That's one thing I would say about the season 1 villains that all of them sort of share in common is like it wasn't quite easy to defeat them. Like Ladybug had to come up with a very, very extensive plan. And also the animation there was really good. So like certain plans just looked way better rather than her just
mm,
sort of figuring it out like that and then smashing the object or whatever. Like it would require a whole like choreography and this and that. So I do remember like the Bubblers choreography and animation was really good. So I also put it in the same tier as Stormy Weather.
mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. Like, yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. Like, it's kind of like similar to like Stormy Weather, where it's like, the reason for him being akumatized, I think it didn't really like, it wasn't executed as well, like you've mentioned. So
Mhm.
I think, because now I'm gonna say a little bit of spoiler if you haven't seen the Chain Titans. We kind of get more of the aspect of why Nino behaves the way he does. um but obviously we're ranking season 1, so villains. But yeah, it's kind of a little bit strange because yeah, it feels like he wants to punish Gabriel, but then he's like taking it out on all the other adults who had like nothing to do with, with his, I guess, vendetta against Gabriel. So it is a little strange.
Yeah.
hmm Ooh, okay. Next one is Time Breaker.
Um, hmm, I don't mind her design at all. I don't mind it. I actually quite like it. In terms of reasoning for getting akumatized, was it strong enough? I guess so, because she did ask her friends to look after her watch, and it was only like a 2 minute like race with Kim. So I think you would think like her classmates would be a lot more competent in like just holding a
Yeah.
damn watch. But at the same time,
Mhm.
I don't think I would have taken it with me. Like after like she
Yeah.
went to the dinner or the lunch thing with her dad, and her dad gave her the watch. I would have just
hmm
been like, Dad, I have to go somewhere after this. Can you just hold on to this till I get home?
Yeah.
So I think it was very irresponsible on her part, and I don't really think there was any like accountability on her part. Um,
hmm
and now that I think about it, I think the concept of her just like wanting to go back in time to
Mm-hmm.
like prevent her watch from being broken is a little bit dramatic. Like,
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
and it also doesn't make sense now that we know that the current with the current like revelation that that was actually a miraculous the
Mm-hmm.
miraculous was supposed to be in indestructible. So how did that break?
Yeah.
And I know it was in its camouflage mode, but still, like it's not supposed to break. And I know that's kind of a retcon.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, but I would put it in. It's also the episode with the weird animation. I remember, like it was
Yeah.
really weird. There were some shots where like the teeth were weird on like Adrian and Marinette's faces and Alia's faces. It was like really weird. Um, but I honestly don't remember the stakes being really, really high. Like
Mm-hmm.
sometimes when I rewatch season one, Time Breaker doesn't immediately come to mind. It's like I'd
Mm-hmm.
watch it if I just didn't have anything else to watch, and I'd watch every other episode, but it wouldn't be my first thought. So maybe I'll put
Mm-hmm.
it in either B or C. I don't quite know, but I'll leave that up to you to decide.
I would say, yeah, I would say like C because, I do agree with you that like this all could have been avoided if she like was more responsible because literally her dad gifted her the watch, right? As
Yeah,
like I think it was like quote unquote an heirloom, I believe. That's what he said. And and to me, it all could have been avoided, like you said. It's like she could have told her dad, "Hey, Dad, I got something to do right after this. Do you think you can hold on to the watch?" Like, like this episode could have been entirely like avoided
yeah,
if if she was responsible and just let her dad hold on to it. Because yeah, like I think in this episode, she made a bet with Kim um, and he was running and she was like rollerblading or something. So, yeah, I feel like that's more on Alex, you know, um, if anything.
100%.
Hmm. Yeah, so definitely C. Okay. Okay. Copycat.
Um, okay, I'm putting him in D straight up
Oh.
because I like the concept of somebody impersonating Cat Noir. I just don't
Mm-hmm.
actually like the how the execution of it in this particular episode. One,
Mm.
I think it was pretty stupid of Theo, a grown man, at least he looks grown, a grown man, to be crushing on Ladybug. And I know, yes, the quantum masks makes it impossible to sort of detect who Ladybug and Cat Noir is, but I think it's obvious that they're like teenagers.
Mm-hmm.
And he Theo literally looks like a grown person. So that was that. And the thing is, I don't even think Cat Noir did that much taunting for Theo to get like really annoyed. Like all Cat Noir did was like say like, "Oh, me and her and an item." That's that. Like it wasn't anything like that deep. But he got like really really annoyed and said like he doesn't deserve her, blah 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 blah. And it was just really like it was so gross.
Yeah.
In my opinion. And I know now they retconned it and they said that Theo is like their age, but I'm sorry, that guy does just not look 15 or
Mm-hmm.
14. Like he also works for like the council and he does the sculptures. I'm pretty sure he has to be a little bit older than that. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but I like I said, if we're ignoring that, I think the concept of Cat Noir having somebody that's impersonating him was actually really, really great. And he had to prove his innocence. I quite like that. And I also really like the scene where Ladybug has to sort of figure out or at least outsmart Copycat because um it's hard to tell who's who. So I really like
Mm-hmm.
that scene. But other than that, I also don't see myself rewatching Copycat. Like it's not something I'd just be like, oh, okay, I'm gonna rewatch Copycat today. Like it was just kind of like if it's there, it's there. Um,
Hmm.
so I'd put it in D because it's memorable, but not for the right reasons.
Yeah. Yeah, like again, it's one of the weaker Akumatized villains where it's like, yeah, it's like you said, Cat Noir didn't really do that much taunting. Like to me, I just felt like he was just overly sensitive. If you know what I mean.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely agree. He was very overly sensitive. But yeah, but when you think about it, it was also clever because like now it really tests Ladybug in like trying to figure out which one's the real Cat Noir, right? So at least that's I guess the only redeeming thing about it with Copycat, wouldn't you say?
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, because I always like when you see like two of the same character and then you're like, oh no, this is like a doppelganger like type situation. Who's the real one, right? It's that type of trope that we see a lot in media in general. Um, but yeah. Ooh, okay, Pharaoh. I think this is the one with like Alex's older brother, right?
Yeah, okay. Pharaoh, again, another one that I just wouldn't like wake up one day and be like, I'm gonna watch Pharaoh, Miraculous Ladybug. Um,
Hmm.
I also think, first of all, the design is fine. I actually really like the design.
Hmm.
So he gets extra points for that. But in terms
Hmm.
of why he gets the Kumite, it was actually really stupid. Like incredibly stupid. Um, he gets akumatized because he wants to reawaken Nefertiti. And
Hmm.
I don't even know who Nefertiti is in terms of like the relation to it. Like who is she specifically and why is she so important for him to want to reawaken? But he wants to reawaken her and I guess mm, is in love with her. That was what the episode was sort of leading to, but it's been a while since I watched it. Um,
Hmm.
and I was like, why is that such a massive, massive like why is that something like it's like me saying, oh, I wanna like okay, I understand Jalil or whatever his name is such a major history nerd. I completely understand that. And there are some things in history that you do want to witness, if you're especially a history nerd. But that's like me saying I want to like go back to Greek times and meet like, I don't know, Percy Jackson or something like that. I don't know. Um, like who cares? Like they're just like ancient myths. Like why is that
Hmm.
something that would invoke such deep emotion in you
Hmm.
to the point where you like get targeted by a supervillain?
Yeah.
It didn't make sense to me. I feel like if the episode sort of leaned into like, oh, Jalil is trying to prove some historical event that was kind of vague, then sure.
Hmm.
Because if you, I don't know if you've seen the show or it's not the show, sorry, the movie Atlantis. Um,
Yeah.
Milo, the scientist, is trying to prove that Atlantis is real, but
Yeah.
nobody believes him. And so he finally gets the funding to like visit Atlantis and blah, blah, blah. If they sort of did that sort of thing where he was trying to prove that Nefertiti wasn't this person or Nefertiti was involved in this historical event or something like that to prove something, but nobody would believe him, then sure, I think that makes sense. Because if you're a historian and you're quite passionate about that, then yeah. But I think he was just more so like, I'm in love with Nefertiti and I just want to reawaken her for random reasons and I'm gonna
Hmm.
use Alia as a sacrifice. It was really weird. Um,
Yeah.
so that can go in D as well.
Yeah, like I kind of feel like the only yeah, like if it was similar to like you said, like you used a great example of like Atlantis, the Lost Empire, right? That like Milo wanted to prove to like people that Atlantis was a real civilization, you know, and but the fact that Jalil didn't even want to do that and he just seemed like I guess obsessed like you said. um oh okay, why are you not moving? There you go. Yeah, so I definitely agree. It's like a little weird um thing to like think about. Like don't get me wrong, like his akumatized form looks awesome.
Yeah.
Like they leaned into it very well. So I feel like that's like its only redeeming quality for this akumatized villain. But yeah, definitely D. Ooh, Lady Wi-Fi. This I gotta hear.
Okay, Lady Wi-Fi is iconic. Like iconic. In terms of her design, it's just kind of like basic, but it works. I don't think it's
Hmm.
meant to be this really massive, like I think in this case less is more. And
Hmm.
they understood that. Lady Wi-Fi was iconic. I actually understand why she gets akumatized. I think this is one of the few ones where it was like really, really logical. You
Hmm.
understand that everything was working against Alia in this episode. So she deserved to crash out 100%. She was trying to prove um, who Ladybug is. Marinette wasn't picking up or whatever. Chloe gets um, her expelled for no reason. Yeah, she wants to get revenge on Chloe. She wants to prove who Ladybug is, and because Ladybug is her idol and she's obsessed with superheroes.
Hmm.
Um, and yeah, so that completely makes sense. In terms of powers, I think she was pretty difficult to beat because imagine being able to
Yeah.
shoot powers from your phone or whatever. That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
And I think this is one where I felt like, okay, there's actually like personal stakes in it. Because it's
Hmm.
Marinette's best friend. And I love the scene where she's in the principal's office and Tiki's like, you're gonna have to fight your best friend. And Marinette puts on a determined smile. She's like, no, I'm gonna have to save my best friend. And I
Hmm.
really, really like that a lot. I wish we got that for the bubbler because I don't really think Adrian was that bothered that Nina got akumatized.
Hmm.
Um,
Yeah.
but I like that for the Lady Wi-Fi. And it also gave us a lot of like really, really cool like clips that I still see till this day being used. Like
Hmm.
when Alia or Lady Wi-Fi says, Tomcat's come to save his love bug, and she's like, I am not his love bug. We'll come to that later. It had a lot of like iconic moments from that
Hmm.
episode. So I'd put it in A. I like Lady Wi-Fi a lot.
Yeah, for sure. I definitely agree because literally, I think Lady Wi-Fi, I think was one of the very few that was pretty close, to defeating Ladybug because I think she used her powers to like have her like hands like stuck. And then she tried to take off the mask, but the mask wouldn't come off. So she was almost close. But
Yeah.
because at the time they didn't realize that it was the earrings that they needed to remove in order to reveal the identity, right? But yeah, definitely an A. And like you said, her akumatization made a lot of sense. It was I think to me, I always found it funny that Alia suspected Chloe to be Ladybug though.
Yeah, I feel like okay, sometimes this is one thing that also kind of bugs me about this episode, which is why I didn't put it in S. And it bugs me about other episodes where Alia is trying to figure out who is Ladybug. It's like I
Hmm.
know the quantum masking um prevents them from seeing certain like their facial features, but it doesn't prevent you from seeing the hair. So like
Hmm.
the blonde would have just immediately like been a no for me. And I understand that some people can actually choose how they look. So what if you have blonde hair in real life, but in your superhero form you decided to go to be a brunette? That's completely understandable. But it's
Hmm.
like blonde would not have been my first option. And yeah, like Chloe, there was this video that Alia saw that Chloe was practicing kung fu or whatever,
Hmm.
but it was just really weird because it was like if Chloe the meanest girl, like why would Chloe be Ladybug? Like that would have just been a
Yeah.
massive red flag. So I feel like that
Yeah.
was just something that was like kind of weird on Alia's part because I don't think she jumped to conclusions and she backs up her facts and she finds logical paths or
Hmm.
whatever. So in my mind, I feel like she might suspect Chloe, but in my mind, it would have made more sense for her to be like, okay, I'm not going to rule out Chloe, but she's definitely not on the top of my list. But the fact she was like, it's Chloe's Ladybug, I can prove it. That just didn't
Hmm.
make sense to me.
Hmm. Absolutely. Yeah. Yeah. I was very confused at that too. I was like, what? I was like, I was like, why is she suspecting her? Like, why is she suspecting like Chloe? Like, that made absolutely no sense to me. So yeah, it's definitely an A. Um, the Evil Illustrator is next.
Okay. Evil Illustrator is one of my favorite episodes of all time. Like not just from season one, it's one of my favorite episodes of all time. And it's not even just because of like the Mary Shat scenes that we got. I genuinely just really enjoy watching Evil Illustrator, and every time I watch season one, that's the first episode that I rewatch. Um,
Mm.
I was Nathaniel a memorable villain? Um, I think okay. What I liked about it, it felt, and this is more so about the structure of the episode rather than the actual villain itself, but it's tied to the villain. What I liked about Evil
Mm.
Illustrator is that it sort of changed the structure for season one because usually like we go a couple of minutes, 5, 10 minutes, sometimes 15 minutes, and then we get the akumatized villain. But Evil Illustrator, I'm pretty sure we see his whole fantasy in like the first 30 seconds of the show. Nathaniel gets like kicked out of class within like minute two, and then he's akumatized like all under 5 minutes.
Mhm.
And I like that rather than like waiting a long time and just getting all of that. Like he gets akumatized straight away and starts causing havoc straight away. And I felt that was a nice and very fresh change for season one. And I
Mhm.
also like the fact that Nathaniel didn't actually cause too much harm.
Yeah.
And he had a lot of, what's the word? He had integrity as a hero. Because once Marinette
Yeah.
said, please don't hurt anybody, he was like, cool, I won't hurt anybody. I just want to go out with you. And I think that was actually
Yeah.
really cool. He wasn't really bent on destroying people and getting the miraculouses, even though that's kind of the whole point of getting
Mhm.
akumatized. Um,
Mhm.
but I actually really do like there was more of like a human side to this Akuma villain. And he
Yeah.
just really just wanted to draw, and he just got humiliated for one, being human and having a crush, and two, expressing that crush in the form of art, which I think is really beautiful. Um,
Mhm.
and yeah, in terms of, and I liked how it had to sort of be like Marinette sort of had to like step in replacement of Ladybug, even though they are the same person, but in their universe they obviously don't know that. So I liked how she had
Mhm.
to kind of do overtime with both her identities. Um
Yeah.
and just in terms of like defeating him, I think defeating him was really interesting. I really like that scene a lot where she had to use the little bouncy balls and like it felt like the stakes were high. And in terms of
Mhm.
his design is actually really, really cool.
Mhm.
His powers are really cool as well.
Mhm.
And I feel like it just cements it's just a Nathaniel episode. I don't think we really get much more from Nathaniel outside of that.
Yeah.
We get like season
Mhm.
two, but that's more of a Mark episode. But yeah,
Yeah.
oh, and season six, The Ruler. But
Mhm.
this was the Nathaniel episode. And I really liked it a lot. So I'm putting it in S.
Oh, what? Yeah. Yeah, I would say I agree with you. It's like, yeah, his akumatization was literally the most human, because he
Mm.
got humiliated because, like, not surprising at all, by Chloe. You know,
And Miss
and
Mendeleev, like she was
yeah,
terrible.
yeah, Miss Mendeleev was also a catalyst other than Chloe, so they're both equally guilty in that regard. Um, but I think what I also love, about this episode, is that Marinette, like you said, she had to do double time. She had to be herself and Ladybug for this. So I think that's also what puts it in S, you know? Because she basically had to help Cat Noir both as a civilian and as Ladybug. So definitely S tier. Oh, Roger Cop. At least it's a better name than the Daddy Cop.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so I don't know why it only just occurred to me now, but I realized that Roger Kopp is sort of inspired by the Terminator. Um,
Mhm.
and I don't know why it didn't register to me all this time until now. But yeah, um, Roger Kopp. Also another episode that I just wouldn't be like, I'm gonna wake up today and watch a Roger Kopp. Do you know what I mean?
Mhm.
So,
Mhm.
I do think like Nathaniel, his reasoning and Alia's, his reasoning for getting akumatized was actually absolutely valid. He
Yeah,
was trying to do his
valid.
job. Mayor Bourgeois was being terrible as usual and threatening his job, even though that is technically not possible. Because I looked into the whole like, can the mayor just like straight up fire people? He can't. He doesn't have that sort of power. Like that's in the hands of like the jurisdiction or whatever. Um,
Yeah.
so Andre Bourgeois is just throwing power that he doesn't even have,
Yeah.
willy nilly. But that aside, he was just trying to do his job, ensure that the law is, enforced or whatever. And Mayor Bourgeois, his a supposed friend, and somebody he's been working alongside with for like years, let's assume, just fired them on the spot, or because of a tiny like petty misunderstanding within the class. Um,
Mm-hmm.
um, and yeah, and just I just feel like the reasoning was fine. The design is fine. Like I said, it's inspired by the Terminator, so I'm not really gonna knock it down for being a bit boring. Um,
Mm-hmm.
I think in terms of powers, it was actually really cool. Like shooting people, no, not shooting people, but like shooting people to make sure like they enforce the law was pretty cool. And I'm pretty sure at the like towards the end of the episode, he sort of turned Ladybug and Cat Noir as like fugitives or whatever, which
Mm-hmm.
was cool. So they kind of had to like fight against everyone and him.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but he was defeated quite easily, at least towards the end. Um,
Mm.
so I don't really remember much stakes being there. So I'll put it in B.
Yeah. Yeah, I definitely agree. Yeah, he is also another akumatized villain, um, who was definitely valid. Yeah, because like you said, um, Andre, Chloe's dad was, yeah, like you said, he was just throwing power that he didn't even have jurisdiction to do. And the fact that Roger doesn't question it is very questionable, if you know what I mean. It's like, dude, you say you're a policeman, but shouldn't you at least know that the mayor doesn't have the power to fire you? Um, so I felt that's a little bit strange on Roger's part. Because it's
Yeah.
like if you are a policeman and realistically you should know all the laws and all the jurisdictions that you know the so I felt that was a little bit weird that like Roger was like threatened by Andre, and like you said, you literally looked it up and it's like mayors don't have the power to fire policemen. It's like that's absolutely true, they don't. So the fact that Roger was like scared that he was going to lose his job. I'm like, the mayor can't fire you, dude. What are you talking about? So that part was strange to me, for sure. But yeah, but definitely, at least the redeeming quality is that, for being akumatized, it made a lot of sense. It was um, definitely made a lot of sense. Dark Cupid.
Um, okay, this might be an unpopular opinion because I know Dark Cupid is very iconic in the fandom. I don't get the hype. I really don't. I
Mm,
think people just like it because of that one Ladybug and Cat Noir scene where they kiss or whatever. Um, but other
mm,
than that, I don't wake up and just be like, I want to watch Dark Cupid. Um,
mm,
but in terms of Kim's acclimatization, it also didn't like it. I get it. You get humiliated and rejected by the girl you're crushing on. That's completely valid. But
mhm,
he knows that Chloe is the meanest girl in school. Mean people,
mhm.
people who are mean to other people will also be mean to you. It's just law of nature. So
Yeah.
I really don't know what he was expecting.
Yeah, exactly.
um, but his design is actually really cool. And his
Mhm,
like whole powers is also really cool as well. Like shooting arrows and turning people to do the opposite of love was really really cool. Um, and I also don't think he was difficult. No, yeah, he was quite difficult to beat. Um,
mhm,
and yeah, but other than that, I don't know. Like as maybe it's just something about that episode that just doesn't do it for me. I just think it's a really boring episode in general. And I don't like
mhm,
him anyway, so that's another bonus point for that. But I'll put it in C because I do think in terms of like if I'm being objective, it is an iconic episode for the entire Miraculous Ladybug fandom. I just didn't
Hmm.
personally see the hype behind it.
Mm. I mean, that's fair. Yeah. I think I think another iconic moment for me in Dark Cupid that at least puts it in C is like he actually like has like a great comeback at Chloe when he's like chasing her and then he's like ha, it's like you're not even worth it. It was like an Akumatized villain like calling you out on your like horrible behavior is so funny. So at
It
least
is
it's like a redeeming quality. Because when I saw that, I was like, oh my gosh, he just roasted Chloe. She basically, that was one of the instances where Chloe got her comeuppance, if you know what I mean.
for sure,
Like she really deserved it. Because it's like, I mean, it's like it I was like, if you can't do the crime, don't do the time, right?
for sure, absolutely,
So at least that's something I'll give Dark Cupid. He's like, it's like I don't want to waste this arrow on you. You're not even worth it. I'm like, bro. So like that's definitely one of the redeeming qualities, at least. At least that for me, that keeps it in C at least. Ooh, horrificator. This I gotta hear.
okay. I think Horrificator as an episode is very forgettable. People don't
Mm,
talk about this episode at all. And it got to a point where I genuinely almost forgot this episode exists as well until I was watching Smarty Pants's retrospective reviews on the episode.
mhm,
Um
mhm,
it's forgettable. I think Milen as a akumatized villain is forgettable. But if we ignore the akumatized villain for now, which I know it's kind of counterintuitive because we are talking about akumatized villain, I think this episode I like it a lot because I rewatched it now. Um, I like it a lot because it's one of the few episodes that we have with the class. I like the fact that the class are like making a film and they've all got their individual roles. I like episodes where like the class are all like we see their interactions, and I feel like as the seasons progress, we've gotten less episodes with them in class and more of them just kind of like chilling in Paris, which is fine.
mhm,
But I just miss those
mhm,
like cute like intimate like episodes where the class are just doing normal class stuff because it grounds us. It reminds us that hey, these characters are teenagers. They're in a middle school setting. So I
mhm,
like how they had to work together, defeat the villain, figure out what was causing the villain to go so big or whatever.
mhm,
That was really cool. In terms of the villain herself, I don't remember why she got akumatized. Obviously, Milan gets scared of everything, and I think she mentions it in season 6 that like she goes to therapy for all her phobias or whatever. Um,
mhm.
but in this particular episode, she was scared because she was acting, and in one of the scenes, the character just kind of jumps out, which is kind of silly to me because you were acting, so you know, like this is just acting. So why are you getting scared? But I think she more so got Akuma's because Chloe was making fun of her. Was she? I don't remember. I don't think Chloe said anything outright to her, and
Yeah.
then
Yeah,
she just
I
wound
don't
up crying.
yeah, from when I remember, I don't think it was Chloe. I think it's like obviously she has a lot of like fears, like she has a lot of phobia, and I think it doesn't help that her boyfriend Ivan dresses the monster. Even though the costume is not that great looking, but um but yeah, I think it's because she got akumatized because she was scared. I think in general, I think from what I can remember. Um, but I think at least the redeeming quality is that whenever other people get scared of her as the monster, the akumatized monster, I think it was also clever. Every time she grew, they couldn't even find the akumatized object at all. I think that was what was clever about it.
Yes, the akumatized object was a pin, and they also struggled to figure out who the villain was because Milen just randomly goes missing.
Yeah.
Um, so they also think Milen is in danger as well. So it's sort of like a not a murder mystery, but that sort of vibe in terms of okay, what is going on in the school, and we're trapped in the school. And I liked how Nino
Mhm.
took advantage of like filming it. um, in terms of how they defeated it was kind of it was kind of lame, but I think it reminds us that this is a kids show, so I wasn't gonna like
Yeah.
get too annoyed with
Yeah.
it. I think they just like make a random song, which
Hmm.
um which is weird because somebody should have been like, wait, how does Ladybug know this is Milen's song? Because they only mention it. Milen mentions that that's her song in the episode, but Ladybug wasn't there. Ladybug wasn't there. So the fact that Ladybug just brings
Mm.
up the song and she's like, let's sing Smelly was like nobody was thinking like, oh, how do you know like Milen likes that song or whatever.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, but you gotta admit she was scaring a lot of people and she did trap a lot of like the other students and staff. So you gotta give her that. I mean, um, and the fact that every time whenever like people show that they're scared, she grew and grew. And then um I think, I love how Ladybug's like the more people are scared of it, the more stronger and bigger it gets. And I think that's just really, really such a really great like metaphor, wouldn't you say? Like every time you're showcasing your fear gets like bigger.
Absolutely. I do like that a lot actually.
Hmm. So where would you put it? I'm very curious.
Um, I'd put it in C because it's not a bad episode. It's just really forgettable for some reason.
Gotcha. Yeah, yeah, like I would say that, like I said, redeeming quality, she was able to like scare a lot of people and like trap them in like I guess what do you call it, the basement of the school, um, and stuff. And I think what I love is that in order to find the akumatized object, they had to shrink her back to her size so that way they could get the pin, because the pin apparently wasn't like there when she kept growing, and I think that was clever because like literally like Ladybug literally tells Cat Noir, we have to find the object to break. And it's like, I don't see anything, just a lot of slime. It's like I think, the stakes were like just, just we're just like on the okay, like not bad, but it's like you could tell that like okay they really had to really think this over how to like deakumatize this person, deakumatize Milen. So
Yeah.
at least that's the redeeming qualities at least. um ooh, Dark Blade.
Okay, Darkblade is also one of my favorite episodes as well. Um, I don't know how the fandom feels about it because when we talk about episodes in season one, this also doesn't come up in much conversations, but I
Hmm.
think structurally and also writing wise, I think it's one of the strongest episodes. I really like the message behind it. Why does Darkblade? I'm getting carried away with actually talking about the episode rather than the villain. Why does Darkblade get akumatized again? Oh yeah, it's Mr. Darjancourt, and he lost the presidential vote for
Oh yeah, now I
election.
remember. Yeah.
um, and no offense, yes, Bourgeois is not a great mayor, but I don't think Mr. Darjancourt would have been an even great mayor as well. I think he would have been a worse contender. Um, so yeah, the fact that he lost by such a landslide is kind of like humiliating on his part. Um, I don't know, because like you're entering an election, you know there's a 50-50 chance of you losing. So
Hmm.
I think it's really not that deep. Like, come on. It's obviously okay to be like upset that you didn't win, but
Hmm.
we didn't see your campaign. We didn't see
Hmm.
why you would make such a good mayor. And I feel like that's something the episode was missing. Like if it showed us
Yeah.
like Mr. Darjancourt actually had like, passions for Paris or whatever, outside of him being because he said something about like his great ancestor was Darkblade or whatever. But that actually kind of argues against why he would be a great mayor. Like Darkblade, from what he described, was like basically a tyrant. So why would he want
Yeah.
somebody who wants to bring that sort of like tyranny back? I'm confused.
Yeah.
I think he got accused because like the what's it called, the news people were following him around and asking him questions. But that's what news people do. Like they have to get the dish, they have to get the scoop.
Yeah.
Um,
Hmm.
and in terms of powers, I think it was pretty cool. Like turning people
Yeah.
into knights and
Yeah.
turning the whole city into this not utopia, this dystopia was really
Yeah.
cool. And I
Hmm.
think it's also an episode where like Marinette shines a lot in this, and the fight scenes were great. And Parlor
Hmm.
Fair that stuck in my head as well. The Mr. Darshika was really memorable to me, so I put it in A.
Oh yeah, definitely. I definitely agree with you. It's kind of like when you mentioned about like that Andre won by a landslide. You could say he's kind of the lesser of two evils. You
For
know?
sure.
because um because I didn't even remember Darkblade until you actually started explaining that like oh like he was talking about like his ancestor Darkblade was actually a tyrant ruler, so I'm like yeah that's too archaic, and yeah you're not going to be leading the city in the best possible way. But yeah, I think I feel like the stakes were high in it too, I would say. Because isn't this like also the episode where they were like voting for like the class president?
Yes. So I really liked how the Akuma conflict mirrored the little like class conflict.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah, absolutely. So I think that that's why this episode was pretty strong, and the Akumatized villain just fit the bill so well. He made the stakes very high. Okay, next one is the mime.
Um, okay, the mime is memorable because it gave us that one. No, those two iconic moments, love square moments. The one where like Adrian's in the car and Ladybug is outside of the car, and like they just sort of pause and stare at each other. And
Oh
Natalie's just
yeah.
kind of there. So it gave us that moment, and it also gave us the moment where Cat Noir like kind of holds Ladybug by her waist, and then they sit at the very top and like have a viewpoint of Paris, if you know what I'm talking about, where she
Oh
sort of like
yes.
sits on his lap or whatever. So it gave
Hmm.
us that moment. Um, the mime, his reasoning for getting akumatized was also valid as well, because the person, his what's it called when like you're in a show, but then you have somebody um that can take over your place in case you're like sick or something.
Uh, uh, okay.
Understudy.
Understudy, yeah.
Yeah. His understudy wanted to be the lead role, so he kind of lies to Milen's dad. I forgot his name. And that causes Milen's dad to go to the wrong meeting point, and Milen's dad's agent tells him like, "Hey, you're off this show because you can never be on time. You're never reliable," which is fair because like according to her, he's never on time. Like he's always given excuses. Which I think if you're gonna work in like theater and like film and TV production, you have to be able to turn up on time. And
Yeah.
if you don't do that, like there's only so much benefit of the doubt people can give you. So
Hmm.
I don't really blame her for like not believing him this time around. It is unfortunate that the understudy did lie and say that he was
Yeah.
from the meeting point, but he it wouldn't have gotten to a point where like the agent didn't believe him if he had proven himself before that. Um, so that's why I'm a little bit iffy. But I think in terms of powers, I think he definitely gave Ladybug and Cat Noir a hard time because like
Yeah.
how do you defeat somebody that doesn't actually have like well, he does have an object obviously, but how do you defeat somebody that can literally make like obstructions with their hands by miming it? They don't even have to say what they need to make. So I think that was
Yeah.
pretty cool. I don't even remember how they defeat him because I haven't watched the mime in such a long time. um
Yeah. And I also love how enhanced he got also in season 6 in the No Way episode. Oh my gosh, oh my gosh, his mind powers were enhanced too. So yeah, where would you put the mime? I'm very curious, G.
I'd put it in B.
Yeah, because his powers got more enhanced in season 6. Um and he did give them a hard time on both ends, in both episodes. So definitely a B for me. Ooh, okay. What are your thoughts on Reflecta?
Okay. um Another, I love her design. Absolutely love it. The first time Reflector gets akumatized, brilliant. Every other single time after that, I don't care. Um, because I just feel like what Reflector is one of those villains where it's like I honestly feel like the writers saw how iconic Reflector was and thought, let's keep spamming the same thing every time and it's gonna hit the same. It's not gonna hit the same because I think
Mm-hmm.
Reflector is one person that I just think the whole fandom kind of collectively got tired of. Um,
Mm-hmm.
but her first documentation was really iconic. Um, only because like the design was really unique. I don't know how like Thomas or whoever it was or the concept artist came up with that because that's such a unique design. I love it a lot. Um, but in terms of powers, I don't really know how that would be useful in terms of like getting the miraculous. Like, okay, cool, I can
Mm-hmm.
turn you into clones of me, but now your miraculous is gone. So like, how is that beneficial to Hawkmoth? Like, it's one of those ones where I feel like it was more so to show off design purposes rather than like show off stakes. Because I don't get
Mm-hmm.
any stakes from this episode. Like, cool, okay, we're all turned into reflector clones, but what is that the worst that could happen? No, like okay, cool, we just look like each other now, but that's not the end of the world. So yeah, in terms of like getting akumatized, it was a valid reason. Julika has
Mm-hmm.
this photo curse thingy, and
Mm-hmm.
Sabrina locks her in the bathroom, which I think still till this day, I think that's still one of the worst things Sabrina's ever done that I don't
Yeah.
think people mention at all. Um,
Mm-hmm.
because like apart from breaking into Marinette's room and like being Chloe's henchman or whatever, I think locking somebody in the bathroom who has anxiety is very scary because that person could easily just have a panic attack and that's just such a cruel thing.
Yeah.
So I get why Julika got mad. I wish her powers
Mm-hmm.
were a lot more like detrimental. Um, and
Mm-hmm.
I would put it in B as well, or
Yeah.
maybe A. I don't know.
Yeah, I probably put in A because, like, yeah, it's another one of those cases where it's very valid. And like you said, yeah, Sabrina, yeah, she ain't no saint. Yeah, that it is one of the worst things to do to someone who especially has anxiety issues. And I'm like, yeah. And and it didn't really help because Chloe's like, yeah, just make sure she doesn't come back. I'm like, wow. I'm like, um, but yeah, yeah, because at least like you said, like her akumatization makes a lot of sense, you know. So I definitely agree. Ooh, gamer.
Um, I actually rewatch Gamer a lot. Like it's one of the episodes where I rewatch the most from season one. Um I get why Max got akumatized in this episode. Back then I was like Max is really not that deep. But looking back at it now, also knowing that Max is autistic helps a lot
Yeah.
with
Hmm.
this retrospective review, I guess.
Hmm.
Um I guess I can't really speak for like autistic people, but somebody in my comment section on my review on A Very Good Night said that
Hmm.
they wish that it sort of the episode sort of delved into how like Max's autism plays a big part in him sort of being a sore loser because like
Hmm.
he has this really big attachment to video games and he worked really hard for it. That's what we saw in this episode at least. Um and Marinette who like just does plays video games for fun, not as like, professional whatever. Just randomly comes and like beats him here and there.
Hmm.
Um so I completely understand that. And it's like Marinette just, she didn't really want to play because she was passionate about playing. She just wanted to play because she wanted to be with Adrian. Um, so that's a valid reason for also getting akumatized. Um,
Hmm.
and also like if you just lost in front of the entire class and the entire class is just kind of like rubbing it in your face, I think I'd also get akumatized myself. So
Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, because the thing is, no one wants to be taunted that they lost,
right.
right? Because they're already feeling it as it is. Because Max is like, how did Marinette beat me? He's like, how did she beat me? I've been like practicing, right? Because the phrase practice makes perfect, right?
Yeah.
And then he's like questioning, how did Marinette beat me? She doesn't even play video games. Well, obviously, I don't think he is well aware she does play games with her dad from time to time. But yeah. And yeah, and like you said, it doesn't help that their classmates were like rubbing it in too, and it's like, okay, people, you need to like simmer down. He already knows, he's already feeling it deeply. You know, you're only they're only contributing to to him being more like increasing the chances of him being akumatized, if you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And I actually enjoy this episode because I think he's like in a robot mech, and then Leba and Cat Noir had to fight at his level. You know, they had to like have their own robot mech. And I think it's really good.
Yeah, so
Um,
I do think it's an episode that challenged Ladybug and Cat Noir a lot. And it was also a really fun episode to watch. Like I miss those fun episodes. I think when, they were, in the mecha robots thing and Cat Noir was like Cat Noir style booyah and they did all that stuff. I think that was really cool. So
mhm.
I'd put it in A because it also has some really like iconic moments from the episode.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I agree with everything you said. Um, because yeah, when you're like a competitive gamer, unfortunately, because I've heard, you know, I've seen online that there's some people who can be sore losers,
Yeah.
you know, and then they get really angry and frustrated, which is understandable. You know, meanwhile with Max, he's kind of like he's just shocked that like I've been practicing for this moment and then I end up losing, you know? Like so it's totally fair. Oh my gosh, Simon says.
Um, okay. I like Simon Says a lot. I think Simon Says is very memorable. And it's
Hmm.
less memorable because of the villain, but more so memorable because of like how many moments it gave us. And it was the first episode where people really, really started suspecting Gabriel as Hawkmoth. Um,
Hmm.
I don't actually remember why the guy gets akumatized.
Oh,
Hmm.
that is a good question. Let me see if I could like
I think it's he says something like I can get you to do I can either get you to laugh or I don't know, do something. And Gabriel was like, nobody's ever gotten me to do this. And Gabriel's not impressed, and I don't really remember, but he gets annoyed
oh,
and he's like, I'm
okay.
gonna take it out on Gabriel. I don't know.
Oh, okay. So according to Google, it says Simon got akumatized because he was humiliated and disqualified from a TV talent show by Gabriel Gress, who refused to participate in his hypnotic act. Oh, okay.
That's fair. Okay.
Oh,
Mm,
this is according to what Google said. But
yeah,
you
no,
got
it's ringing a bell as well. But at the same time, it's like, I mean, I don't have to do your hypnotic act. Like it's my choice. But I think
hmm
Gabriel does like say something and he like gets disqualified, like Google said. So I think that's the extra bit that um is fine. So yeah, okay, cool. So his akumatized villain is akumatized motive is okay. Um and I think it's cool to have a villain where like he just says Simon says do this and do that. And
hmm
it gave us that iconic moment of flutter, flutter, flap, flap, and where Gable almost jumped off a building. So
That part is like lives rent free in my mind because of like when you think of Gabriel, he's just stoic, right? And doesn't smile. And then you see him do like he's like, I'm a pretty butterfly. And I'm like, bro, what? And I think it's just so hilarious in, in this episode. And like you said, this episode is literally where the fans literally started their suspicion that Gabriel was Hawkmoth, you know. And I think the way they did the storyboarding for this is really clever, if you know what I mean. Like it kept cutting back and forth, and I think that's how fans started to get suspicious, if you know what I mean.
yeah, the editing was really good in this episode. That kind of throws you off deliberately.
Yeah. because like the episode wants you to think they're two completely different people, right? Because you see in one frame you see Gabriel doing that weird "I'm a pretty butterfly" thing, and then you see Hawkmoth. It's like how like it's so cleverly like storyboarded, I'll say that. Because like now they're trying to like throw you off, right? They're literally that was their whole intention. And then obviously once it was revealed in Collector that Gabriel was, Hawkmoth, that's where fans like, yes, we knew it. Um, but how would you rate Simon Says?
I would put it in S.
Nice, yeah, I definitely agree. Um, definitely agree. Ooh, Pixelator. Ooh, this I gotta hear.
Mm. Okay, I think pixelator. Look into the lens. Okay, that's the one. Um, I think people remember Pixelator, at least the guy behind the Akumatized villain. But they remember him for the wrong reasons because he was a bit of a creep. And
Yeah.
it was revealed in season 6 that he's even more of a jerk. Um, but him getting akumatized was just kind of ridiculous because like you are
Hmm.
literally a stalker. You're stalking a celebrity. You're making them uncomfortable. Like, and they've been fair. They've been nice with their boundaries. A little bit too nice and lenient. But you just won't take no for an answer. So I'm sorry, he's not a victim in this in my books.
Hmm. Hmm.
I don't feel bad for him at all. I do think his powers are kind of cool though, like taking a picture of
Yeah.
somebody, because I think it leans on the idea of like consent and like taking a picture and
Yeah.
photographing them, and I think that was a really cool like metaphor through like visuals. I actually really like that, and his
Hmm.
design is actually really cool as well. Um,
Yeah.
I liked how Cat Noir gets kind of trapped in it, and he has to like use the cataclysm and break out of it. I think that was pretty cool. Um,
Hmm.
and he also proved to be a quite a strong opponent for Ladybug because she
Hmm.
kind of loses her arm and her leg, like it gets like pixelized or whatever. So that was
Yeah.
really difficult. Um, and I like the choreography when they defeat him. Like she has to throw it like a baseball, and the camera sort of follows the compact mirror thing that she's holding. So that was really cool.
Hmm.
But
Yeah.
I don't see people talk about Pixelated that much. Like
Yeah.
I don't know, but I would put it in A because I actually really enjoyed that episode a lot.
Yeah. Yeah. Everything you said, I agree. Like his powers is like a metaphor for like obviously this guy doesn't understand consent is important,
Mm.
and if anything. And obviously, I think this is the same dude that's also Revelator in season 6, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So, like, obviously, powers got enhanced where he can reveal revelations, which is more scary too. Like, both of his abilities when he's akumatized are pretty scary, when you like really think about it. Um, And like you said, Pixelator was definitely he was another Akumatized villain that gave Ladybug especially a run for her money. Like you said, I think like it was like an arm and a leg were like pixelized, and she had to
Yeah.
like work around that and figure it out because she's like, oh man, it's like so yeah, definitely an A. Oh, kung fu. This is so funny because I have friends who are like Dragon Ball Z fans, so they immediately saw the reference to Dragon Ball.
Kung Fu, his reasoning for getting akumatized was also really good as well, like completely
Hmm.
valid. Imagine flying all the way from like China to do this, not a competition but this show. I think it was a competition, and you get sabotaged by some bratty 14-year-old girl. I would be mad as well. That's
Hmm.
completely like grounds, and he can't even speak like he can barely speak English. So
Hmm.
like it just feels like everything was like targeted against him. um
Yeah.
so that was fine. I don't know much from it. Like, I guess his design is fine. I don't. It's it's not one where I think, oh, like his design really sticks out to me. It's just kind of like, okay, it's a kung fu sort of style episode, so they're gonna lean into that sort of character design. That's completely fine. Um,
Hmm.
but I think it was a great villain. I actually think like I like the style of the structure of the episode where like Ladybug and Cotton will have to go through like stage one, stage two, stage three of like
Hmm.
fighting different people.
Hmm.
So I quite like that a lot. I'd put it in B. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, definitely. Yeah, his reasoning for being like akumatized is definitely valid because like you said, why did they make Chloe a judge is very questionable to me. If you know what I mean, it's like, shouldn't you be having like actual professional cooks be the judges? You know, so that way they're more fair and impartial. Um, but yeah, like it's like you said, another valid thing is that his English is not that good, and like you said, everything was like working against him. Like since there's like quite a bit of language barrier, he couldn't really voice out like it's unfair, right? Because he didn't really know how to like and literally you could see Marinette was like, oh no, I need to like learn Chinese. Right? Like, do you remember in that
Yeah.
episode where Marinette was like nervous, like she's trying to learn Chinese because she knows her great uncle doesn't really speak that much English, and that's where it's like a language barrier. And then luckily Alia's like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna have like Adrian be there because he speaks fluent Chinese, because Adrian currently is learning Chinese which I think was really good, and the fact that Adrian was pretty much Marinette's translator, and then you hear like her Uncle Wang just like her great Uncle Wang just like speak a little bit of English. So he said my English is not that good though. And I love that. It's like you said, there was like a lot of elements that were just pretty much against him. Language barrier is the worst when you can't even like talk to your relative, right? Like if if they're only fluent in another language and not the language you're speaking, I think that's just really relatable. Um, but yeah, definitely a B. Ooh, the puppeteer. What are your thoughts on the puppeteer?
I mean, her getting akumatized makes sense for like a little kid, so that was that. But I really like um I think out of every villain in season one, I think she was actually the closest to being successful, despite the fact
Hmm.
she's a literal kid. Um,
Hmm.
and I think the puppeteer is actually really iconic as well. It gave us a lot of iconic fight scenes,
Hmm.
iconic quotes, iconic scenes in general. Um, so and
Hmm.
it's also really rewatchable as well. Like I actually really like the puppeteer um a lot. So I would put it in A.
Yeah. Yeah, like you said, yeah, the puppeteer was definitely really close. It's one of those, I think there was like maybe at least like a few of them in this season that were really close to defeating Ladybug. And the puppeteer is definitely one of them. Because I think was it like her ability was to control like statues or some, or was that in like a different puppeteer episode?
That was the Puppeteer 2.0, but in this one, it
Oh,
was
okay.
to sort of get a doll of somebody, like get the Ladybug Cat Noir dolls and control them.
Oh, okay. So it's kind of like she's doing like voodoo doll type thing.
Yeah,
Okay, gotcha. I just wanted to be sure. I was like, man, it's been a while since I've seen the first Puppeteer. But yeah, she was pretty close because I think the Puppeteer was like her power is really good, because like if she can control your movements, that's like checkmate. But obviously since she's a kid, and not an adult being akumatized, a kid will be a kid, even when they're akumatized. Um, but yeah, the puppeteer was definitely close. And her abilities really showcase that too. Okay. Next one is Animan. Oh yeah, this is the dude that like shapeshifts into animals.
So in terms of design, I don't really think he has one because he just turns into a different animal depending on um what is suitable for him in the specific situation.
Mm-hmm.
His Akuma reason was kind of hmm, like okay, I get it. Like Kim was kind of being a douche, but Kim was
Mm-hmm.
saying like I can beat a panther. Why would that trigger you so much to getting annoyed? Like it's not
Yeah.
like he was deliberately insulting the it's not like he was like, insulting the zookeeper. He was insulting the panther. So I don't really know why he got that annoyed so much. Um I think because of like I think people remember Anima not because of the actual villain, but
Mm-hmm.
because of like it had some really cool Adrianette scenes. It was the birth of Nina Alia, DJ Wi-Fi. Um,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, but for me, I don't personally wake up and think I want to watch Anima. It's just kind of like a B tier episode where I just like, okay, if it's there, it's there. So I'd put it in B as well. There's nothing really well, there is a lot of things memorable about it, but I wouldn't say it's a strong episode.
Hmm. Yeah, I would say maybe the redeeming quality, other than the one you mentioned, is that he does shapeshift into different animals to fit the circumstances. Because he's like, oh, it's like I better like sneak in as like a very like small thing in like Marinette's house, right? Because obviously he had to think like what's something that's very small that can get in, right? So
Mm,
so at least, him using his abilities to very different circumstances when he's trying to chase Kim, I think at least is like another redeeming quality, at least. Um, yeah, but yeah, but I do agree the part with him being triggered because Kim decided to be a jerk was just like, dude, you're like a grown adult man. You shouldn't really be triggered by what a teenager's telling you. So yeah, it definitely takes it to a B for me. Ooh, okay. Princess Fragrance.
um, it gave us a lot of iconic moments.
Mm-hmm.
For sure. And it was a really fun episode. Really fun episode.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I guess I would say I understand Rose's reasoning for getting akumatized. She admires Prince Ali. I'm glad they didn't really sort of go down the whole romance route. I think it was just purely like admiration for like his work and his
Mm-hmm.
like, vocation or whatever. And Chloe, as usual, was being a douche and was being rude to her or whatever. So that makes it made a lot of sense. Um,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't really think she was even out to like hurt anybody. I think she just wanted to like hang out with Prince Ali. Um,
Mm-hmm.
her design was also really cool, and I like her powers, like the perfume bottle, power thing was also really cool, and it gave us really great like choreography fight scenes. So I'd put it in A.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, for sure. I remember I enjoyed Princess Fragrance. And like you said, like I like Rose, like he's like when I remember when I first watched this, I didn't see it as anything romantic inclination. Like you said, she admires the work that he does, which is a good thing. It's good to admire people, right? Especially if they do like work that like benefits society, and that's something you can admire someone about. And then meanwhile, Chloe, it's just, oh, it's like obviously, she prefers just to hang with the famous people just to be, famous when. So Rose was definitely, it's another valid reason. I definitely agree with you on that. And I did love her powers too. Ooh, okay, guitar villain.
Um, I understand why he gets akumatized. I completely understand when you're an artist and you want to do one thing, but your label, your management is telling you to do a completely different thing. What I didn't get is how like why he got so annoyed when XY called him like old or outdated, because like yeah, you are old. Not old,
Hmm.
but like you are like significantly older than him. So it's not something that would like genuinely annoy me. Like if somebody who's like half my age calls me old, it's like it's not something that would genuinely get me so annoyed. It's just like, oh, okay, cool. Um,
Hmm.
but it's also really weird that like Bob Roth is Jagged's manager, but is
Yeah.
also XY's manager and XY's dad, and they're like opposing. Like it's, I feel like that's just a conflict of interest. Um,
Yeah, yeah, I feel yeah, I definitely agree. Because realistically, yeah, it is a conflict of interest. If you have like if you are like a manager for like your relative, you know. Yeah, so but yeah, from what I remember, yeah, I think Jagged's akumatization, um I is it if I remember correctly, was it Bob wanted him to like I think
to
he
change his
was,
music.
yeah, change his music specifically. Because wasn't it also Marinette involved in this episode where she had to draw like a cover or something? Um
Yeah, of his next album or something.
and literally Marinette, even though she's like younger, she's like, oh my gosh, I can't even like concentrate on this music to draw jacket, you know? So I think it's also really cool that like Jagged decided to want Marinette to design his like new album cover because that's gonna be a huge honor. It's not every day a celebrity just like approaches you and say, "Hey, can you make the cover of my next album?" Um, but what do you think of Guitar Villain's powers?
Um, I don't really remember much. I think he just strums his guitar and then like it makes the person go berserk. Which okay, but I don't know. Like I think his design is fine, but I just don't think the animation does him justice. His powers are okay, but I don't really see how that would help in terms of getting Ladybug and kind of was miraculous. Um, and I think it's a forgettable episode. Other than like, yeah, it's actually a really forgettable episode as well. Um, I
Mm,
I wouldn't rewatch it like at first glance. So I would put it at C.
yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I don't I wouldn't rewatch this episode either. Yeah. Because the stakes were really low too, I would say too. Like I didn't really see any possible threat from what I can remember. Ooh, next one is Vanisher.
Okay, this is going straight into S. Like
Hmm.
this one, her and Antibug are going straight into S as well. Um, because I think they're in the same episode. I like the structure of Antibug's episode because we have Sabrina already akumatized off screen. So it's sort of
Hmm.
like we have to work backwards to figure out what happened. And I like the concept of somebody being invisible, um, and just wreaking havoc. Um,
Hmm.
so that was that. I really liked that. And then I liked how she was akumatized from the beginning and at the middle, like she's de-akumatized, and then we get Antibug. And I like how Antibug is the antithesis of Ladybug. And
Hmm.
it's ironic because Chloe is Marinette's sworn enemy. She's the one that gets under Marinette's skin. She also idolizes Marinette's alter ego, which is the ironic thing. Like the person you bullied and the person you hate is also the person that you admire and look up to. So I really like
Hmm.
that. And I mean, Antibug was just iconic because not because like she was anything particularly like stand out, but just more so in the sense that like it was just really iconic. Like Chloe's akumatization, because like she hadn't been akumatized. She's caused a majority of the akumatizations in season one, so we've yet to see her akumatization. And then like we get to the final couple of episodes of season one, and she's akumatized. So I think that was a really nice build up. I'm glad they left her for like one of the last people to get akumatized in season one. So that was really cool. And I like how her lucky charms are a lot more like devastating and like Ladybug's Lucky Charms are random, but hers are very more like, okay, like we're gonna summon a huge knife, we're gonna summon a huge gun or whatever. So that was really cool. So yeah, those are both an S for me.
Yeah, absolutely. Like it feels like they go in tandem too. And I think that's what really stood out for those two. And like you said, both of their powers are equally threatening. With Sabrina, she is like invisible. So it's kind of like, how do you fight something? How can you fight someone who's invisible? And we've seen this trope a lot, in media. Like, how do you fight someone who's invisible? What do you use in your surroundings that you can like at least find them, right? In order to defeat them. And then, like you said, with Antibug, um, her power is very like threatening. She can like before Marinette couldn't really control her lucky charm, right? And then now at some points in season 6 she can summon whichever, right? It's not as random as it was. But um but yeah, anti-bug is like more like intention, and that power can be very scary. So yeah, definitely S for both Vanisher and Anti-Bug. I know chat we're cheating on this, but they kind of go in tandem, you know. And stuff. Ooh, Stoneheart, the one I guess that's supposedly in chronological, if you want to think chronological sense, Ivan is
Yeah,
like the first person to get akumatized.
yeah. Um, hmm. Stoneheart as a villain. I mean, I guess they were sort of playing on the whole, not King Kong, because we have Godzilla for that, but in
Hmm.
terms of just like, okay, the more you attack, the bigger it grows as well. Um,
Hmm.
I think Stoneheart is memorable, but only because it's attached to Origins. I feel like if it was attached
Yeah.
to any other episode, I don't really think people would care all that much. Um,
Hmm.
so if we're going strictly based off the Kumatai's villain and not really the episode itself, I would say Stoneheart, like it did his job. I understand why Ivan got akumatized. Like he has a crush, and Kim was making fun of him for it and humiliated him. Um, the second time he got akumatized was kind of like ridiculous in my opinion. I just feel like it was valid for
Hmm.
Milen to be a little bit like weirded out by him. I would put him in C.
Mm. Yeah. Yeah, the first time, what would you say is more valid than the second time?
Yeah,
Okay. Yeah, that's what I figured. Yeah, the second time was kind of like, okay, I get it, because obviously it's a two-part, the Origins episode was a two-parter, so they like, yeah, we gotta have the same villain. But I would say at least it's like a good, decent, like in terms of chronological, in terms of the timeline of who gets akumatized first. I think it was a really good, like, a akumatization, for him to be the very first, like, victim of Hawkmoth.
yeah,
Hmm. So I think it's just, I think it was really good. But yeah, the second time really does bring it down because it's like the first time was valid, but then the second time was like, oh yeah. Yeah. It didn't follow up good, if you know what I mean.
yeah. I 100% agree with that.
But what do you think of Stoneheart's ability?
Um, but I don't know what his ability was other than like turning other people into stone hearts. His ability was just like, okay, if you attack him, he just grows bigger in power. Um,
Yeah.
so I mean that's fine, but I don't see how that would be like useful in terms of getting the miraculous. Like the bigger you are, how are you supposed to get the miraculous? Like how is he supposed to get Ladybug and Cat Noir's miraculous if he's a rock? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So in terms of design wise, I just don't see how that would be very like um
Mm.
useful.
Yeah, I mean that's fair, yeah. I think the iconic moment is like when Miss Bustier is like doing the attendance. It's like Brewell, I'm in prison. Like he comes in through the classroom door and then he just scares everyone in the class. That part is still iconic to me. Like and then Adrian's like, man, it's like I just started my first day and I didn't even go through like I didn't even like get through attendance. Which is funny in retrospect. So it's definitely a redeeming quality in that scene because that scene always made me laugh. It's like Brewell, Ivan, present. Like it's kind of like he just comes in at right timing. Like the animation of that was so funny.
Yeah.
So definitely C for me, when you look back, and retrospectively, yeah, his powers, I think it only just increased, it's kind of like other villains who are able to I guess like turn people to their allies or something like that. It's kind of like that. But yeah, definitely C. Ooh, to end off with Volpina.
Um. Okay, Volpino is just iconic.
Hmm.
But I think it's less because of the actual like Akuma, more so because it's Lila, and that was her
Hmm.
debut. Um,
Hmm.
I like the idea of like her just like taking an interest in the miraculous straight away and deciding like I'm gonna go for the illusion miraculous,
Hmm.
and make that my identity. So I really like that a lot. And hmm, I don't think the animation does it justice, unfortunately. And in terms of
Hmm.
powers, I like how her power set wasn't very like all that big in terms of like, oh, causing mass destruction. It was just purely, like making up lies and illusion. But that works because I think Lila's strong enough as a villain that doesn't need to cause all these like massive um destruction. I'm gonna put her in A.
Yeah. Yeah, when you think about it, this is pretty much showing how she could be a pretty good villain. And in season 6, she's showcasing how much more capable she is as a villain, as Chrysalis. Like, because we got to give that to Lila, right? Like, she is showing how more competent as a villain than she is than Gabriel. Wouldn't
Yeah,
you say? Like, I feel like this is a really great introduction debut for her because obviously her thing is lying, and literally using pretending that and like you said, her being interested in the miraculous was like really, I think a lot of people look back at that now and they're like, oh, like, did she have prior knowledge or what made her, like, and Lila is a very, very mysterious person too, because I feel like out of all these Akumatized villains in season 1, she is the most mysterious, and we still don't know the reason why she is a compulsive liar. We still don't know that. Like we don't know what her wish was, in the London special, like she is like the most mysterious character in Miraculous, wouldn't you say?
for sure.
And this was just a great way to like showcase that, because obviously you know how the phrase goes, you sly fox, right? Because foxes are known to be sneaky. And I feel like Lila was she's really good at being sly, and she's showcasing that more in season 6. Um, because I think when you say she was very sly and almost got Marinette until Tiki got she almost got Marinette transforming in front of the camera until Tiki spotted it and told Marinette don't transform.
Yeah,
Like
100%.
Lila
That
was
was
that
really
close.
meticulous.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that was sly and meticulous, like you said. Like, would you ever see Gabriel pull something like that? Not really.
No, unless it was Natalie's plan and Gabriel just went along with it, you know.
Yeah. Yeah, Natalie was more the brains from the two. Let's be honest. She was more the brains, but Lila literally thought of this idea that, like, okay, like she has this suspicion, spoilers for season 6, people, a bit. If you have not seen Vampagami, please go watch it because I'm gonna go into a little bit of spoiler. Um, Vampagami, if you all want to know, Vampagami, Prem gets akumatized, right? And obviously, this is where Marinette goes into like the women's bathroom, restroom, right? She wants to go and transform. She almost did it until Tiki spotted the the camera. And I think it was like in the ceiling, right? I believe. Um, like it wasn't it, G?
Yeah. Yeah, yeah, she puts in a ceiling, yeah.
And Lila was so close to exposing Marinette until like Tiki like said, stop. And Marinette's like, what's wrong? And she's like, Marinette, I see a camera. And then that's where Tiki's like, Marinette, whoever this new holder is, they want to find out like who's Ladybug, and like it really shows. Like literally Volpina was just a great debut for Lila. And now we're clearly seeing why she is a great villain. Um, and like I said, we don't know much about her. Like we don't know why she jumped and pretended, I guess 3 women were her mom, right? We don't know the reason why she was doing that. We don't know why the hair that she was wearing in season 1 is actually not her hair, but a wig. So like she is like the most mysterious akumatized villain in season 1. But I really love like wouldn't you say you love Lila more as Chrysalis than Gabriel as Hawkmoth?
For sure. I think she brings a lot more to the show. And it's just a lot more like interesting with her
Hmm.
as Crystal is because of that allure and that mystique surrounding her character.
Hmm. Absolutely. And this is our final tier list of ranking the season 1 Akumatized villains. And this will be posted on my socials so you guys can see what we ranked. And of course, it's not surprising Mr. Pigeon's F. Believe me, if you watch Mr. Pigeon 72 in season 4, you're gonna see why he's ranked in the F. But I want to thank you, G, for doing this tier list with me. It was a lot of fun.
Absolutely. Thank you for having me once again.
Yeah. And of course, I'm going to go over the upcoming live streams. This coming Tuesday, May 12th at 5 p.m. PT, 8 p.m. ET is the long-awaited next episode of Sonic Lore with Radar, episode 10, where Radar will be answering questions about the Tales Tube web series lore. So if you have any questions from what Tales has discussed in any of the Tales Tube episodes that have been released, you can ask Radar. And then on May 13th at 3 p.m. PT, 6 p.m. ET is Chill with Team Serenity. So yeah, it has been a while, but Andrew Doom and I, we will just be having a chill live stream where we will be talking about anything, of course, within reason, because my content's kid friendly. And to celebrate the upcoming 60th episode of Goddess Spotlight with LSR, um, I will be doing a Q&A with Giselle Fernandez, who is the new voice of Princess Daisy. So, this is to celebrate the 3rd anniversary of the podcast itself and for reaching the 60th episode of my Q&A podcast. And of course, I will see you guys in the next live stream. And of course, don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and turn on that bell notifications for upcoming live streams and video content. And I'll see you guys in the next live stream.
Bye,
Bye
everyone.
everyone.